Entrepreneur life show. Work toward being significant. Entrepreneur life show. Don't you worry, success will follow. Entrepreneur life show. Entrepreneur life show. Work toward being significant. Entrepreneur life show. Don't you worry, success will follow. Entrepreneur life show. Entrepreneur life show. Work toward being significant. Entrepreneur life show. Don't you worry, success will follow. Entrepreneur life show.
Hello, everybody. It's Thursday. I love Thursdays. Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Live Show. If you are tuning in for the very first time and you are not familiar with the show, thank you so much. Visit the website, entrepreneurliveshow.com, where you can check out all the past guest interviews that I've had, all the upcoming guests on the calendar. You're going to love the show. You're going to love my guests. I work with the best publicist PR agents that bring me the best guests for interviews. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. I want to thank my sponsor, shopmystorenow.com. Shopmystorenow.com, great gift ideas for the family, just everything from fashion and style to makeup and joy. Thank you so much. I love it when I have sponsors that support the show. And for those who are streaming on one of your very favorite podcast platforms, remember, you can jump in live someplace on Instagram or YouTube or one of the Facebook social media sites, or even on the website. And be sure that you can find us on Fire Stick, your Amazon Fire Stick, and Roku. So you can see a lot of the shows that will always be streaming and recirculating. So today's guest, you guys may not know this, but I actually have a fondness for operatic and classic music. So I was excited kind of when I got the bio for this guest because, opera is like wine or alcohol, you know what I mean? In classic music, you have to have that acquired taste. And once you taste it, you just freaking love it. So it just tells such a great story. So today I have on the show today, and which many of you may be familiar with or have seen, or after you see their face, is I have Natalia and Gilad, and they were one of the finalists on America's Got Talent. So I had to make sure I went back. Now, this was during the whole COVID time, right? When nobody was doing anything. I mean, so they had to perform just for the judges. And I mean, I would have been like freaked out because the audience wasn't there. It's just the judges. So they have this amazing, unique twist on music. Let me tell you, if you're not a person who's into opera or classic, because they kind of mixed it all up, you're going to be now, after you hear them, VOCE NOVA and Natalia and Gilad, I'm going to bring them on the show. You are going to love them. They're going to change your thought to what you think about classic, mixture, operatic, jazz. Let me tell you, you're going to love it. I'm going to bring them on the show. Hello.
Hello!
Wow, what an intro. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we are the gateway drug to classical music. So
let me tell you something. I want to start off by saying I was not a fan of opera. Just like I said, because I don't drink alcohol, it's an acquired taste. But honestly, I'm a fan of PBS. I love PBS, and PBS has a lot of great entertainment and a lot of great shows. And when, of course, who didn't love the Phantom of the Opera? I mean, you did not have to enjoy that type of music to enjoy Phantom of the Opera. But I remember when I heard, Luciano Pavarotti. I'm probably saying that wrong. But why I'm saying that is, even though I guess the language of choice is Italian, you don't have to know the language to understand, because it's about the vocals, the voice, the intentness. I mean, do you agree with that? Because when I heard that, I didn't even know the language, but I'm like, you get like this emotional kind of connection, like, what's happening in the story. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we definitely do. And it's funny what you were saying right now, because that's exactly what VOCE NOVA it's all about. When we started performing, and our audience is very wide, from high-end luxury weddings, corporate events, to we're singing in front of bars in Brooklyn, and every audience we sang in front of, people absolutely loved it, because music, it's a language of itself. It's a universal language. When it has a true intention behind it, and excitement and passion behind it, people get it. And that's the beauty of it.
And of course, when you talk about an operatic voice, there is something about, you're not seeing Natalia standing up, but she's not a very tall person. She's not a very big person, but the voice that comes out of this box is huge. And there is something really exciting for an audience when they experience an opera singer live and hearing the vocal athleticism that comes into singing that genre. So when you're talking about Luciano Pavarotti, I mean, when you are able to feel what he is saying and not necessarily even understand the language, that means that is a wonderful performer who really knows how to communicate what they are trying to convey.
I wanted to ask, how did you actually meet and then realize that you enjoy the same types of music, and you both entertain and you both sing? I mean, was it, just something that one of you enjoyed and say, well, you know what, I'm going to go with that too, or you both just happen to enjoy the same thing?
So it was February 9th, 2018.
What time?
I remember that day very well, because that's when I met this one. We were both hired to sing a house concert of opera hits at a mutual acquaintance's apartment on the Upper East Side of New York City. And we sat down and we met for coffee to just talk about what the show is going to be and what we're going to be singing. And as we were talking, we realized that we both had the same kind of trajectory in the world of opera and in life, actually. We both started singing very young. We started from rock and pop music, and then got into opera a little bit later, but still really enjoy singing other genres. So what we were going for was, so we were talking and we're saying, okay, there's something here. And all of a sudden we realized that, this 2018 and 2016, both of us independently had crossover projects. Natalia recorded a crossover album. I created a classical crossover concert concept. And we said, there's something here that we really need to keep exploring. And then we saw each other perform. And that sealed the deal. Because I came home and I showed my wife, Lisa, who was actually our co-producer. I showed her this video of this show. And I'm like, what do you think of this woman? What do you think? She's like, this girl can hang. And that's when we knew that we had to make something happen in a way that was going to be that would tap into what we both do
Yeah.
best musically, and that's combining these genres.
I want to know, how difficult is it? Because with your mashups, and I want some people to understand actually what you do. It's so freaking unique. You're not really, I can't even say what your genre is, because everybody has their specific genre, I guess, but you really can't say, because you have this unique twist of like jazz, rock, hip. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I can't even describe it. So how do you go from singing in the operatic to the twist of back to English, and then you're going to classic, then it could be jazzy, then it'd be rock? I mean, that, I would think, isn't that quite difficult? I mean, because I see that you're more operatic, Natalia, and then, and then Gilad is throwing in like, but no, I guess you both kind of do that with some of the songs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm a professional holistic vocal coach, and Gilad and I, the beauty of us as performers, that we know how to adjust ourselves to any style of music that is in front of us. Mm-hmm. And it's honestly a talent, because not every opera singer is able to do so. And it's a skill. It's definitely a lot of training and years of experience to do it in a healthy way. So Gilad and I will be singing when we're 80 years old, right? and still maintain a good vocal health. And it's truly just the experience of it and understanding the fundamental of what it means to have a healthy projection and healthy breast support and all those things that seem a little boring, but that's what's helped us to really bring out and have no boundaries or any difficulties to project and do whatever we want to do vocally.
A friend of mine once told me that his voice teacher said, first you study classical, then you sing rap. Because
but I did hear that if you understand, and because classical is very intense, you have to understand every note, then you can just about sing anything.
Yes.
Exactly. And Natalia in her voice studio has singers who are classically trained, musical theater, singer-songwriters, all kind of different genres. But when you go in with a healthy instrument and a healthy technique, you are able to do anything.
Exactly.
And that's really exciting. And that allows us to be able to play with genres the way that we do.
I want to know, how did AGT happen? Because no one's ever done what you've done on AGT. No one's ever done that. I mean, I watched a lot of them, and I seriously did this. I went into some of the old shows, and I was like, no one has ever done that before.
And that's why they wanted us on the show. They actually said that to us. They said, so we reached out and sent our audition tape. And it was about, so from first communication to actually shooting the show was about, I want to say 7 months or 8 months, something like that. It was a long process. But we kept getting yeses. So it was yes to the video that we sent, which was the Libiamo remix, which is actually streaming on Spotify and all the platforms, where we combined the very famous Verdi duet, the drinking song, but we combined it with a Moroccan beat. So we came in, we sent those in, we got a yes. They said, okay, come to an actual audition.
Right.
Okay, we auditioned in front of a more senior producer. They liked us. Okay, that's a yes. Okay, send us another video. Okay, yes. Then, okay, we're not sure we're gonna have you yet, but stay tuned. Let me tell you, America's Got Talent is an exercise in patience more than anything else. And then after getting, I think it was 4 yeses, we actually ended up going to the show,
Hollywood,
which was the Twilight Zone.
But that was during the pandemics, when I remember there was no audience. So I'm thinking, like, the pressure had to be intense. And why I say that is because when you give the audience hype, it's great because then they even can hype the judges. You know what I'm saying? But now all you have is just the judges. I mean,
And
so
3 out
how
of
was,
4.
how did
We
you
didn't
feel
even
about
have
that?
Heidi Klum.
Which Heidi loves opera, and we didn't even have her, and that was very discouraging for us. I'm not gonna lie, but as I said, it was such a honestly, I'm so proud of us and in this man and Lisa and just what we created together and the resilience and the belief in what we do so much that we're not affected by anything external that could happen, like the pandemic. Like, who would think that Hollywood will shut down exactly on the day that we're going to shoot our audition? You know, this is like one of those things you can't even imagine, but that's the entertainment life. You know, things are happening unexpectedly and the show must go on. And that's the way we approached it. We believe so deeply much in what we do. And as you said, there's no genre to what we do. The people don't even know where to put us because there's no like a box that we fit in, because that's the whole point of Voce Nova, is breaking those boxes and rules and all these things that they say you should be or do in order to be successful. And, you know, we came there and the whole day, you know.
So it started. So we're there. We flew in and they're like, okay, show up. It was March 14th. It was a Saturday. So we show up 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Backstage, everything's hopping. You know, we have like all the lights and they have the AGT signage and they have all these things. And, you know, they're taking us to do, you know, shoots for social media. And, you know, there's all this like great energy. They're shooting, you know, pre-show interviews. They're doing B-roll, all kind of stuff. And then we do our sound check, the whole thing, everything goes great. And then at 1:30 in the afternoon, someone comes up to us and says, okay, everyone, I'm so-and-so. I'm an executive producer on the show. I'm just letting you know that as of today, we are shutting down production for the AGT auditions. We are done after today. Anybody here who is not shooting the show or is a contestant is being sent home by the union. We are done. So all of a sudden, 3.5 hours into the day, they shut down lights. Everything just becomes the Twilight Zone. They start rolling in equipment cases. Things are shutting down around us. We don't even know if we're going to be, if they're even going to be shooting our segment. We're sitting there. They're sending some of the contestants back to the hotel and they're saying, yeah, we'll call you back. We're like, we are not moving. We are here. We are not going anywhere in case they say like, we have 20 minutes to shoot whoever's in the house. You know, we are here to do this. So we ended up being called up at 8:30 and didn't actually get on the stage until 9. So we're talking 11 hours. And out of those 11 hours, for 7.5 hours, we were in this like weird place. We're both trying to like get ourselves in the right mindset. You know, Natalia's meditating. I'm talking to people because that's my way of just like, you know, relieving the pressure and the stress. Lisa is like out there looking for like a tea for us. Had to go to 3 Starbuckses just to find a tea, you know, because everything's shutting down. And then even after all that, to be able to give the kind of performance we gave, and we were told, listen, we are acting like we have an audience here, and we just gave the show. We gave a show to the judges. We gave a show to the crew. We wish we had 3,000 people to give a show to, because we believe, like you, that an audience who would be clapping to opera and dancing to opera for the first time in their lives would have made a big difference. But the universe wanted what it wanted, and we are super, super grateful. Natalia said super proud, and we are super grateful for the AGT team for having us on the show, for a full segment, for putting us on their YouTube channel, and really allowing us at least to show what we do, albeit, you know, without an audience.
I want to know who thinks up the songs for the mashup. So before we get to that, to answer that question, in case any of you are not familiar, I know that some of you, in case you're listening, wherever you're listening to on one of the podcasts, so that you can at least hear it. So I hope you don't mind. I actually wanted to bring up something, a performance that you did, a song that you did. That way people can hear it that aren't watching live, because majority of the listeners are on the podcast. But for those who are tuning in wherever you are on Instagram or something, then you can also hear it and see actually who's singing it. So if you don't mind, I just want to share that before I answer that question.
Yeah, do it.
So I am going to bring it up on the screen really quick. And here we go, you guys. Here we go. Love it. It should be starting pretty soon, you guys. Oops, just a second. Okay, let's get the sound on. Sorry about that for the delay, everybody. There might be a sound quality. Hold on, you guys. Sorry about that. I really want to get this in there.
Yeah. Take your time. We want everybody to hear it. It's a cool matchup.
I do.
So as you know what? As you're cueing it, there it is.
I love that part.
Us too.
No, it didn't stop.
Oh, is it having an issue?
I can't wait till Gilad jumps in there.
I think we should.
Sorry, you guys, if that's cutting out. I think it's the internet reception. I need to get to this part. I just love this part. I love that Santana part. You know, he's one of my favorite artists. So for those of you that cuts out a minute, I want to make sure you guys go to the website.
Ain't good enough. I give my world to live. You up, I change my life to better suit your mood.
I'm sorry that cut out a bit, but I just had to get that. I love that. You have a great voice. Your sound together, it meshes extremely well, but you're so uniquely different.
Thank you.
It's we try to lean into that as much as we possibly can, because a big thing that we believe is that uniqueness is exciting to an audience, and there's something about believing in what you do and being uniquely yourself that we believe really gets you places. Any big artists that you ever, think, you mentioned loving Carlos Santana. Carlos Santana, when he came out, was very different than the things that were happening at the time.
Yeah.
I'm a big Santana fan as well. Like having those Latin touches, all that percussion, in a time when you had pretty straightforward, mostly British or American rock music.
Yeah.
Having that Latin flair really made Santana completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Oye Como Va, all the stuff and that's a huge hit. So there's something about being able to bring your own unique background and what you grew up with, what you, that's the Libiamo. We grew up with this beat, we're not Moroccan, we're Israeli, but that music is all up in our culture.
Right.
And that's what brought that up. That's where, I thought about that idea. With Habanera Smooth, we've been talking about finding a song to go with the habanera, because Natalia's like, listen, we have to have this song in the show. People love Carmen. what do we do? And it took a while. We were shooting ideas. So we have, you know, we have a, you know, a little WhatsApp group between the three of us with Lisa, and we'd like send ideas. Middle of the day, it's like, how about this song? How about this song? How about this song? And actually, this one, Lisa came up with. Well, how about Smooth? We're like, Smooth.
Yep.
Ooh.
Well, I know that I'm Catholic, and so when I saw that you did the remix and the mashup with Ave Maria and Churxh, very impressed. So I don't know who thought of that. That beautifully done.
This one, that's all Natalia.
Is this one? Just kidding.
It's this one. Natalia came up with the idea, and we're like, yes, we love it, but are the Christians gonna be offended? So I'm glad to hear that you're not.
No. And I, you know, and obviously being Catholic is something you learn and you sing in CCD, and you know, so, and you're in school. So I was I'd never heard anybody, I mean, except for the nuns, ever sing that song, to tell you the truth. Aside from you guys now. Now I'm a fan of Stevie Nicks. Love Stevie Nicks. And so have you guys considered what other songs you're considering in the future, and maybe doing like a mashup or a remix?
Not for now. I feel like we have a really solid show that we're very excited to share now that things are opening up back again. And we're really exploring, you know, as you saw, we really put a lot into Spotify, Apple Music to get as much exposure so more people can hear and experience Voce Nova. And we're really excited about singing in live, having the Voce Nova effect and the wow factor. And to experience that. If something we feel that the audience wants more, and again, because we're a customizable show, every event that we approach or we speak with the client, they always choose, oh, I want this song with this one. And we're always very open and happy to collaborate that and include it in our show. So we're very open, but not in the moment.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, as Natalia mentioned, we are first and foremost a live act. Yeah. That's what Voce Nova was created for. Putting songs out on Spotify was something that, you know, we did because we felt like we wanted to get to more people. We wanted more audiences all over the world to be able to hear these mashups. And we are very proud of what we bring to the table. And that's why we wanted to put it out there and see, you know, what the reaction is. And we are very happy to report that the reactions have been incredible. And it's really, you mentioned, we are not really in the kind of act that you can put in a box. You can't really categorize it. And it is harder sometimes for people to hear things when they can't really put them in a very tightly knit category, you know? Right. So every time we create these mashups, it's a risk, you know, we try something different. This Ave Maria versus Take Me to Church was, you know, a big, you know, it's a big statement, and it's very us musically. Everything we do is, but that one specifically really kind of spoke to us. Habanera versus Smooth in our show. It's a song that we actually haven't released, but one of the songs that people love in our live show is a mashup between Aha's Take on Me and the Queen of the Night aria. Wow, and the Queen of the Night aria from Mozart Magic Flute, which Natalia just she just hits it out of the park. I mean, rocking it. So it's really cool, you know, ideas that we bring to the table.
Yeah.
God, I love that song. Okay, so I mean, I don't know if you do this, because I know, as you said, Natalia, you're also a vocal coach. Have you ever considered, because you do perform live, doing things for like charity functions, weddings, stuff like that? Because it's so freaking entertaining. Yep. I mean, I definitely could see people wanting to book you for something like that. I mean, it's so exciting and entertaining. People just really have to see what you do and go to your website, really see what you guys do. It's really, really, I mean, I love it.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah, we do. I mean, you can talk about all the different shows that we do. I mean, fundraisers,
awesome.
charity,
I mean,
like,
anywhere there's an audience and you want something that is going to be memorable for the guests and bring something completely different. So we've been hired to sing in a high-end wedding and
Yeah,
do
tell her about it. Tell her about it. Tell her about the man. Tell her about it.
And the client wanted a flash mob, okay? Opera flash mob. So here we are recruiting 5 more singers singing with us in the main dinner. One of the biggest, richest people in New York. His daughter's getting married, and here we are. We couldn't even film it because it was so like,
The first thing we got when we showed up was an NDA.
Oh yeah.
So, but that's what we did. We did 3 songs. We did the traditional operatic songs.
We were dressed as
waiters. Yes.
Oh wow.
We're pouring water
God.
for like 15 minutes before the show, and all of a sudden, opera.
And they lost their mind. But you know when they lost their mind? When we did Libiamo, the remix part. That was, people took their phones out. They start dancing. They start clapping. And I would never forget like the people's look and their reactions. And this is what we live for those moments of the transitions, the surprises.
Yes.
That's where you really, really get the reactions we really, really hope for.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you said. People get super excited about this, and it's such an exciting show. And Natalia mentioned that when we do these events, the nice thing that we can offer is customization, because all of our tracks are created custom for us. So the tracks that we sing to don't exist anywhere else because it's all tailor-made for us. Keys, transitions, instrumentation, because we put our Voce Nova twist on every song, even the ones that are not mashups. For example, Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. We do a very intense kind of rocking version of that ballad, which really hits a bit of a different way, a way that related to us. A classic like Time to Say Goodbye gets a bit of an electric guitar on there, a little bit of a lick on there. So that's something that, so it's all different. And we work with a wonderful music producer, Asaf Averbuch, who is actually located in Israel. We are in New York. He's in Israel. We're in 2022. Everything goes remotely. So we are actually we are able to offer custom tracks, because when a client, for a corporate event, for example, asks for a specific song because they have a specific theme in mind, we are able to create a song specifically for that event. And that is exciting for us because the creative process is the only, I think for me, the only second to the actual performance is the creative process, and being able to find the songs that fit together, sit down together and go through these songs and say, okay, what works here? What works here? Let's try the vocal this way. Let's try the vocal that way. What's going to be a way that's going to be exciting to an audience and make sure that they're engaged the whole time. There's a lot that goes into a live show.
Exactly.
Well, your performances are very engaging. So I could say that. So, I mean, you can't help but not, I guess, want to engage or get into it. I mean, I could definitely see that. And I wanted to ask, what would you think is one of your greatest moments of what you've done so far, that you say your greatest achievements?
Wow. I mean, it's for me, at least, it's all these moments where, and even so far, like sometimes we're not getting the reactions that we want. Let's be honest. A lot of people don't really, when you're doing something so different, it takes time for people to understand it, to accept it, to bring into something, People were so used to just hire a true opera singer singing like the regular classic repertoire or the band. People now really think, oh, why would I not bring those this amazing duo in my reception, for those 30-minute segment that we're perfect for, while people eat, that's where we come in and bring them something crazy amazing, or in a word show, come in and do something in that magnitude. And this is what it's hard, but what I'm proud of us, that we are sticking to it. We're committed to what our true why and what we do it and why we love it so much and keep going. This is what I'm truly proud of. No matter how the results look like. So yeah.
Yeah, it's the arts, you know, it's art, it's subjective. The best we can do is put our best foot forward, and it is a source of pride to be able to say, you know, and it's funny because I said it on America's Got Talent, and they used it in a negative connotation, of course, because why not? But showing up and saying this is who we are, and if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, that's okay. I think that's a mindset that is not pervasive enough, especially in the arts. You know, we always try to please instead of coming in and saying, yes, I want to give an audience a great show that they're going to love, but I want to do it in a way that is true and authentic to me.
Yes.
That is a source of pride every time that we get up in front of a different audience and they get it.
Yes.
You know, and that's the honestly, it's the best we can ask for.
Do you find that because your sound and how you have the mixture and the blend of the music that you choose to do the mashup is finding the right musicians behind it? Do you find that difficult?
I mean, finding musicians. I mean, we looked for our stuff for a while.
Oh my God, to find somebody that gets like you can't even. It's not like a drawing you can show. It's like we try to explain what we're trying to do and do like those really rough sketches and just like trying to get all this recording to kind of make sense of it. But it took us a time to really find that person that gets both of the classical and the pop and the rock and the modern and the classical and everything, because it's such a collaboration of so many different skills. And Asaf truly delivered with his, like, honestly, he works with the best musicians and all the tracks are with the live musicians. So that's what we're so passionate about. And of course, moving forward, we're looking to collaborate with symphony, orchestra, and yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
I want to ask you that. Like, if given the opportunity to perform at an operatic performance, because you, man, it was like,
please just put us. We both have performed full roles with orchestra. You know, concerts with orchestra. Just give us the opportunity to be on a stage with an orchestra, and we are grabbing it with 5 hands.
But the beautiful thing with our tracks, we can always bring somebody to play on top of it. So if we have a like electric violinist that it can do like cool stuff on top of the track, we bring that for the wedding. A lot of times they ask us to do that. So we're cool with that. And that's the beauty. Again, it's coming back to the customization. And we're meant for the big stage. Like, we would love to bring VOCE NOVA for the full effect with the live band, live orchestra, best DJ, maybe a choir, gospel choir singing the Take Me to Church behind us, like bringing a rapper.
Yeah.
Truly, like, this is our vision that we're so excited to bring all over the world. And it's going to happen eventually.
And we love collaborations. You know, Natalia is completely right. I mean, we love collaborating with people.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not easy to find the people because, you know, Natalia said it was hard to find the stuff and to get him on board with everything. And even then, when we're sending him ideas, sometimes he says, wait, give me a reference. We're like, there is no reference. We are doing something completely new. You know, so we figure it out. And he says, it's funny, you know, with some of these, it's like, oh, that's not going to work. You know, stuff says it's not going to work. And then we say, okay, let's talk through it. Let's see. And then by the end, he plays with it and he's like, oh yeah, it's going to work.
So I was going to ask, okay, so this leads into my next question. How do you know when you're doing the mashup, you choose the songs that you're going to blend, but then what parts to actually at the perfect timing to blend them in?
Oh, it's a whole art.
Yeah.
I think it's a trial and error. That's honestly the way it is. And first, some songs we have it like really, we know how we want it to happen.
Yeah.
but a lot of times we're thinking about the structure of the song, how we can really
Right.
take them from this to that. What is the big reveal? What is the big twist? What is the crescendo? Where is the climax of that song? And really kind of finding that balance between all those things. So as I said, some songs it's really clear. Some of them we need to try
Yeah.
and different versions of it, and until we kind of like, okay, it feels right.
Natalia talks a lot about the journey, you know, the listener's journey.
Yeah.
You know, like where are we starting? Where are we ending? What is the path that we're taking in this mashup? So, for example, Ave Maria versus Take Me to Church, like that.
Yeah.
It was so easy. We're just okay. We just have to, you know, make it work. We kind of heard it. And then, you know, we dug deep. We're like, okay, this is gonna be the difference. That's what's gonna, you know, here you're gonna sing the Ave Maria, but on a rock beat instead of going back to classical, like all that.
Right.
So, but some of them are harder. Actually, the Take Me to sorry, not Take Me to Take On Me and Queen of the Night.
That was the hardest.
That one was a lot of work because we felt like we needed a song for the show that would be a dance number. Like we were missing another dance number for the show. And we're like, and Natalia actually said, okay, how about Take On Me? And we're like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Let's see what can we mash with it. What can we do without, we try not to force things. And I think that your reaction, and we are so happy to hear your reactions to these mashups, because we really try to make sure that nothing feels forced, that everything feels really easy and smooth in the transitions that we create. And for example, one of Natalia's solos, you know, that we offer in our show, and we have 14 songs in our catalog that we are offering right now. One of hers is SOS, which was made famous by Dimash, who is a wonderful classical crossover singer, and All By Myself by Celine Dion. And
it's actually now on our YouTube channel. So go check it out.
It's on our YouTube channel, right?
I was visiting your YouTube channel, so yes, I saw that one too.
So that, you know, finding the way to connect, because SOS is not as famous yet. It is famous, but not as big as All By Myself. And finding the way for Natalia to be able to tell this story and figure it out. And when we especially a song like SOS is actually in French. So we look at the lyrics also. We make sure that we know the translation so it makes sense.
Oh my God.
You know, one of my solos in the show is Nessun Dorma, going into We Are the Champions, and back to Nessun Dorma. Nessun Dorma, as you probably know, being a Luciano Pavarotti fan, one of the most, you know, amazing, one of the most beautiful arias, and also maybe probably the most famous aria in the repertoire. And it talks about winning. And we're like, winning. We are the champions.
Oh, love Queen.
Combination. You know, so there are ways
Yeah.
to make this work, and we really put a lot of thought into it. And there's a lot of work that goes into the creation of even what we call the Frankenstein monster track, when we just put things together and just send it to Asaf and be like, okay, how do we make this music? You know, that really is there's a lot of thought that goes into each one of our songs.
You know, being that, you know, Donnie and Marie, one's a little bit country, one's a little bit rock and roll. So when you, for you two, who's more the operatic, who's more of the rock and roll?
He's definitely the king of rock and you know, he's actually a really good rapper, believe it or not. We didn't really showcase that, but he just has it.
I just have good diction, you know. I'm not a freestyler or anything, but I have good diction. So
I'm more the opera, but also very pop. I love pop, and one of my favorite songs is Titanium, and like doing a little bit, bringing the Britney Spears into it a little bit more, a little bit of sass, a little bit more performance into that, and a little bit of dance into that. So that's my thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I know you have a uniquely styled electric. I'm quoting you guys, electric approach as what you would call the gateway drug to classical music. So I want you to just define that and explain that.
gateway drug. We love classical music. I mean, we sang it for a long time. We still sing it, obviously. I grew up with a lot of, not opera, interestingly enough, but a lot of classical music at home. And we feel that opera and classical music has a PR problem because
I can agree.
Because it feels elitist. It feels removed. It feels like it's
not authentic.
It feels like people have a hard time relating to it.
Exactly.
But we truly believe, like you said, that when you actually listen to the music, when you hear the voices, when you hear the orchestra, there is something that is unique and different and really is not like anything else. We performed with live bands and we performed with orchestras and full choirs. There is nothing that feels like, everything feels different. And there is something about being able to make classical music and opera more accessible to audiences, that is the gateway drug. It's you come to a Voce Nova, you see Voce Nova, you hear us in an event, you come to a show, you hear us online, and you're like, oh, I never realized that when you play the Nessun Dorma choir part, but you play it with an electric guitar, you're like, oh, that sounds like Led Zeppelin. That sounds like Queen. That sounds like music that I love and I'm super excited about. Or when Natalia goes into Titanium with a fully orchestrated backing track and goes into that Fifth Element, kind of vocalises, going into the stratosphere, and you're like, whoa, that is super exciting. I want to hear more of that kind of singing.
Right.
That is what the idea of a gateway drug really is. It's bringing people, getting them in with the songs that they know and love, and expanding their knowledge and their curiosity to classical music.
I do agree that I think in some cases opera and classical has gotten a rap because of what people's picture of it is. You look on stage and you see people dressed in certain outfits and costumes, and they sing a different language. But I know when I wasn't introduced because someone told me to listen to it, just because I started going to see plays and I was seeing all these riots. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go because you're going to theater. But some people aren't thinking opera. They're just thinking your normal plays. And of course, but some people don't realize that there's such a mixture of music and opera. I mean, you'll hear pop, rock, hip hop. If you listen, you may not always understand the language or the words, but you hear it. It's in the music, is why they say if you know classical music, you can sing it. It actually has a bit of everything. And then you kind of just start to feel it. So I do agree with people don't give it that chance, or it's not really publicized as it should be, as entertaining. But it's really just like watching a stage play. You may not speak Italian or something, but you understand. Because I do this. My family, sometimes they think I'm weird. I watch a lot of movies and stuff on Netflix of language I don't understand, Asian, but the intenseness of the voice and how they're talking, it's like what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what they're saying. And I'm like, but I know he cheated on her because I could tell. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's like opera, classical music.
Yeah. I think it's the Korean show you're watching. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and that's a really good point there also, because remember, there are different times of classical music as well.
Yes.
There are different periods. Our show actually has, some songs, the Mozart, for example, was written in the 1700s. Nessun Dorma was actually written very late. It was like in the early 1900s. And then the Habanera was written like smack, somewhere in the middle of the 1800s. So, and those actually have different types of style. And, the Ave Maria also in the 18th century. So that also brings different ideas. Like the classical music was evolving with the times, and now for anyone who's interested, I will just share that right now there are some really exciting, finally, newer operas that are being produced, including, I just heard yesterday, a hip hop opera by a very cool dude, Babatunde, who is an opera singer who like went viral singing this like rap beat, like the Figaro aria, and he has done amazing things. And Chicago Lyric Opera, one of the top opera companies in the nation and in the world, is actually premiering a hip hop opera next season. And Terence Blanchard, who is a wonderful jazz composer from New Orleans. So I went to see his opera, Fire Shut Up in My Bones, last year, that included jazz and blues and a whole like African American like drumline situation, and like the whole the college all the a whole scene of that. So there is more of that coming into the opera world, which for us is super exciting, because finally we are bringing this art form to the 21st century in a real way.
Yeah. But I think if you are a real artist, if people really listen to a lot of the artists today, if the ones that are your hits that are long lasting, they take such an amount of different types of music, even country, and you hear it in there. Even, I mean, like I there's a lot of where I see from like overseas in India, and people are pulling stuff from there and from Asia and Australia, and you hear it in the music. So and just surprisingly, people don't even realize, or sometimes you hear a lot of classic in country. I listen to everything. I like everything, and in jazz, and so I just like good music. But I agree. It's like there's you're very, very, I would say ones to watch, because music is ever changing, and there's not a lot of good music today. And I don't want anyone to take a lot of offense, but there's not a lot of good music that you can take with you. It's like you say, like the Temptations are never going to go away. Johnny Winters, he's jazz. There's certain music and performers. You can be 70, and my kids are listening to certain people. You get what I'm saying? Because there's good music that you kind of relate to. It's relative. Yeah.
Stevie Wonder will be around. Like his music is going to be around forever.
Yeah. And we actually bring those type of music that is timeless into our show. Every song we choose, it's not a trending song. It's songs that have been tested throughout the years and decades, and that's what we love.
Because that's what people love to hear. Exactly what you're saying, Rose.
Yeah.
People love to hear these songs over and over again. I mean, and we want to bring that to them with a twist.
Exactly.
And the twist is what differentiates us from the pack.
Well, you guys, this was the funnest show. I think, because if you can tell, I was really like excited, because I was doing my research, because I really do. I'm not saying that because because you're here, because I really enjoy your music. And
Thank
so,
you.
I wouldn't even say the music, your performances, they're just like, they're so much fun. It makes you want to get up on stage with you, kind of.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. We're both, we've been on stages since what? I mean, for me, it was 7-8 years the same, right?
Yes,
like 7-8 years old. Like we're talking decades of being on stage. And for me, it's home. And to hear that from you, that, our performances make you feel that way, and our way of being on stage, that is truly an honor to hear, and it makes my heart sing.
Yeah, because I even thought of when I was listening to the match where you had a little bit of Santana in there with Smooth. I was like, oh man, if he was in the background, it would have been like on.
Listen, he didn't pick up the phone, but next time, I guess.
Listen, if anybody listening knows Carlos Santana, please get him this mashup. We think he's really gonna have we think he's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Well, I say hashtag Carlos Santana. So if
Yeah,
people
I mean,
share that,
you know.
and definitely go to your YouTube page. And I say, but before we go, people, you really, I mean, it's so entertaining. There's no, I think if you like any type of music, you're going to enjoy what you guys do because it's entertaining. And what it kind of I wouldn't say really reminds me of, and not to bring up stripping. There's stripping, and then there's vaudeville, and so it's entertainment. And so you're just like kind of like you're waiting for the next thing, anticipation for what's going to happen next. Because a lot of times today, even when it comes to movies and music, it's like you've heard it before. I guess you'd say it's like, oh, I heard that. Everybody sounds like this. They all sound like the same person or the same kind of song. So it's just a pleasure to finally have something and hear something that you don't hear all the time, because it starts to get boring after a while.
Thank
Exactly.
you.
Thank you, dear.
Thank
We
you
appreciate
very
it.
much. And we invite everyone listening and to come and join us on social media. We are at Voce Nova Music, VOCE NOVA Music. We are on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. You can find us on LinkedIn at Voce Nova, and we are on all your favorite streaming platform as well.
Well, cousin Jenny, I think you're going to like it, Jenny. So you should go to their website. They're going to tell.
Thanks, Jenny. We're happy to be here. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for enjoying our story.
So we're going to end the show for today, everybody. And thank you all for who have been listening and who've been watching. And I love the hearts that you guys have put up. Really appreciate it. But make sure you guys go to the website, entrepreneurlifeshow.com. The live video will be there recurring all the time. And make sure if you guys have missed it, to connect with them. Their information will be on the website, the interview. They just lovely. And I don't know if you guys wherever people are, because I know that they can hire you. I don't know if it's just on the East Coast, but
we are all over. We go, we perform all over North America. We're actually in talks about, potentially some South America shows. We're all over. So wherever you are, we would be ecstatic to come and give you and your guests an amazing show.
Well, thanks again, everybody. Until next Thursday, check out the website, entrepreneurlifeshow.com, for the next guest. And I'll see you till then. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Rose.
Entrepreneur